Hello all, my name is N. Venkatachya, studying CSE in BVIT. My roll number is 21BQ1805F6. Now I am going to explain input and output functions in Python. Input and output functions. In Python we have input and output functions. If we use input functions to take input from the user and output functions to display outputs in program execution. We have raw input function in version 2. It is used to take input, but in version 3 input function is used to take input from the user, but print is used to display output in both version 2 and 3. Now let us see raw input function. The function raw input presents a prompt to user. Here the optional argument arg is called prompt. It gets input from the user and returns the data input in a string. Syntax for raw input is raw underscore input, open parenthesis, argument, close parenthesis. For example, here let us see a program. Name equal to raw input, open parenthesis, what is your name, close parenthesis. Print hello, comma, name. In the process of execution of this program, the program asks what is your name as a prompt. After that, user enters whatever the name. Then it prints the hello what value in the variable name. In the above example, it prints value in the variable name in the form of a string. Typing of data for the raw input function is terminated by enter key. Suppose we have entered some name. Let us consider Ramu. After entering Ramu, we press enter key to terminate the input from the input taking in the name. Raw input function converts whatever data we enter into string. Sometimes in program we have to use numeric data, floating point data, some other data types. So we use typecasting to read that type of inputs. In that case we use typecasting. Syntax for typecasting is data type, open parenthesis, raw input, open parenthesis, argument, closed parenthesis, closed parenthesis. Next we see input functions in version 3. Input function. The function input represents a prompt to user, similarly to the raw input function. Here also the option argument is optional. It gets input from the user and returns the data input by the user in a string. Here syntax for input function is input, open parenthesis, argument. For example, here also same example is taken. Name is equal to input, open parenthesis, what is your name, print hello, comma, name. Here in the execution of program, the program asks the user what is your name. When user enters a name, it prints hello, whatever value in the name. In the above example also, it prints value in the variable name in the form of a string. Here also, typing of input data into the input string, input is terminated by the enter key. After entering the value or name, it is terminated by enter key. Whatever we typed, that is saved in the variable name. Here also we use data conversion, data typecasting. We can use input to enter the numeric data also. Here for syntax for using typecasting is data type, open parenthesis, input, argument. Now far we have seen input functions in Python, which are used in version 2 and version 3. Most of the cases we use input function, which is latest version. Sometimes we use raw input function, print function. In Python, we use print function to display output. Before printing the output it converts the value into string. Whatever the value we pass it to the print statement, it converts the value into string before printing. Syntax: print, open parenthesis, value or values, separator, comma, end. Here value or values is any value, as many as you like, will be converted to string before printed. Separator. Here separate is optional. It specifies how to separate the object if there is more than one default. Generally we use white spaces, but sometimes we want comma or some semicolons, something, so we use separator in that purpose. And it is also an optional. It specifies what to print at the end. Here default is null. If we not mention end value, it defaultly takes null. Sometimes we add commas or hyphens, something like that. Now let us see an example for the input and output functions. Example program. Here we had taken two variables a and b. Now we are going to take values of a and b using a keyboard. That means user enters the values of a and b, and we have to sum the values entered by the user and print it. In this program we use input function, which is version 2, version 3. Here a is equal to int, open parenthesis, input, enter a number. Here enter a number is prompt, which is optional argument. It leaves a message to the user. After execution of program, the program asks enter a number as a prompt. After seeing this, user enters something a number and presses enter key to terminate the value in A. Next it asks the enter a number for B variable. After entering the value, user presses enter key, then that value is stored in B. Here we have taken some variable. It additions the both numbers A and B. After getting value into some variable, we print sum equal to, which here sum equal to is values. Here we are not going to use a separator n because that is not necessary. So we use sum, comma sum. Here value in the sum is printed. Let us see one time print function. If a user enters a value as 3 and b value as 10, we get sum is equal to 10, 3 plus 10, 13. And here 13 is printed by print statement, sum equal to 13. Here 13 is converted into string before printing. So we use input and output functions to display and take input from the user and display outputs in the program. In program, at least one print statement is necessary because we have to know whether the program is executing or not and to display results of the program. Thank you very much. I am N. Venkatarajan, bearing roll number 21BQ18056, CSCC.